So I'm flipping through Netflix, minding my own business, when suddenly I see Robert De Niro's scolding face looking at me. I'm not superhuman after all. If Robert De Niro is scolding me, I'm going to be intrigued. So I clicked into 0 Day, started the first episode, and wouldn't you know it, I was so hooked. With that in mind, let's discuss 0 Day. I think one of the most obvious things about this new limited series on Netflix is that this is one stacked cast. Every time I started to feel satisfied with the characters and actors I'd seen so far, another actor popped up on screen and had me pointing at the screen like Leo DiCaprio. 0 Day stars Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Lizzy Caplan, Connie Britton, Joan Allen, Dan Stevens, Matthew Modine, Angela fucking Bassett, Bill Camp, and McKinley Belcher III. And that's not even everybody. It's about a former president who is called upon to head the 0 Day Commission after a massive cyber attack knocks out all devices and power for 1 minute, resulting in thousands of deaths and lots of questions from the American people. If you're old enough to remember 9/11, then this show will certainly bring back memories of that really horrible day. At least it did for me. And like in real life, I had no idea what was coming. But once things started to transpire, I couldn't wait to finish this series. There's a really tight, intense political thriller here. It feels fast-paced, yet doesn't rush its plot. It has just the right amount of thrilling, intrigue, entertainment to have me saying that this series could actually warrant repeat viewings. Robert De Niro needs no introduction. This man has a very long, storied career with some fantastic performances under his belt. So it should go as no surprise that he is awesome in this series. He has his usual sternness as we expect from Robert De Niro, but there's also some softness and some empathy to his character. His character goes through a lot in this series. A lot is thrust upon him. One of the biggest story beats of this series is how much power is too much power, but also this series asks and suggests that many times, as I'm sure we all know, we are not getting the full picture from our government. I'm sure if you ask the average citizen, do they think the government is lying to them, is hiding things from them? Most people are going to say yes. And some of it maybe is for the best, but at the same time, shouldn't that be our choice? I am legitimately unsure, so I'm asking. That's a question to all you guys. Are all lies bad? The story is really intriguing, and the more you learn about each of these characters, especially Mullen, the more you feel connected to the weight of his decisions, because he has some intense power thrust upon him, and there is a ton of weight associated with that kind of power. Another standout performance in this series would be my man Jesse Plemons, who, by the way, is looking better than ever with his new weight loss. He plays a close advisor and assistant to Mullen, and like Mullen himself, is a man burdened with past mistakes and secrets. Jesse Plemons has not been around nearly as long as De Niro, and yet he's made enough of an impact that when I see he's going to be in something, I'm intrigued and I want to watch it. Joan Allen plays the strong wife on the sidelines who wants the best for the country, but also has her own political aspirations that don't always line up with her husband's choices. Each episode of this series felt so intense. The musical score really adds to that tension. The cinematography is used very effectively. The show has kind of a dark overlay, but I think it looks fantastic and sticks to the show's darker themes overall. Because this is a heavy show. This is a dark show. Why should this show be bright and sunny? This is a mini series, which is perfect for cancel happy Netflix because we actually get a beginning, a middle, and an end. We're not left hanging with this series. You get the conclusion. The final episode of any series is always going to be the most polarizing one. I think we can say for sure that makes or breaks a show for a lot of people. It's the one that divides the audience the most. And so I expect that will be the same case with this show's ending. But for me, I found the ending to be plenty satisfying, and honestly, I think it ended in the way that made the most sense. Not to mention, it left me pondering, it left me thinking and asking questions, which I think is very important to do. We should be questioning our government, the stories that we're told, the news that we're listening to. We should not ever be complacent and stop asking questions, which obviously some people have no problem doing. There's actually a character in the series who is clearly supposed to be based on someone like Tucker Carlson, and yes, every time this man spoke, I wanted to punch him clear in the face. But there's a lot of people out there that are pulled in by people like this. Can you imagine the danger of someone with that level of power using it to influence people in a way that suits his or her needs? Well, I guess we don't really have to imagine, because I'm pretty sure we are witnessing that on a daily basis with the stuff that our government and our news is telling us. But this guy had people hanging on his every word. Sure, he is polarizing, which I guess is entertaining, but at the same time, you don't know if he's being paid by some big corporation to say the things that he's saying. You just don't know that with any of these people that are telling us our information. These are the kind of questions and thoughts that this series gave me, which I think is not a bad thing. Stacked cast aside, I found this to be one of the most gripping series I've seen on Netflix in quite some time, and it makes those bullshit price hikes feel a little easier to swallow. They're still bullshit though. Greedy much? You know, I know that your yacht needs fuel, but you won't even be able to make the payments for this yacht if you keep raising prices, pissing people off, and people start canceling their subscriptions. So think about that. I loved almost everything about this series. The acting is phenomenal, the cast is remarkable, the pacing is perfect, and the story is so strong. It may not have the biggest or most intense ending that you could have imagined, but I think it's the ending that makes the most sense for the direction that this series was headed. So for me, this series is an easy 9 out of 10. I loved it. I highly recommend it. It is so gripping. It pulls you right in. It does not let go. Robert De Niro is fantastic, but this whole cast really is phenomenal. Rock solid. I think I might watch this series again. I'm going to probably give it a little bit of time to let myself reacquaint and give just, some space, but I think I could come back to it. That's how much I liked this series. What did you think of this series? Please put your thoughts on it in the comments. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button to let me know that something I did didn't just absolutely suck. And if you want to hear more things from me, subscribe to this channel. Later.